What's up, booze? What it do? What it do? Hey, projectors. How you doing? And my projector adjacent people, if you're watching because you know you love, you want to know more about a projector, come on in. I am your girl, a.Nichole. I am a human behavior expert. I am an astrologer. I am a Reiki practitioner. And I am also a human design freak. Okay, nerd. I love all things social sciences, all things astrology. I love numbers. And because of that, I like to bridge my academia credentials with my extended studies of astrology, numerology, human design. I've really been focused on astrology lately, and the boos have been asking me to do more human design. So here we are. I started a series for my baby boos, and I'm starting with just introducing, you all to your design type, main components of it, and the top 5 mistakes that I see you all make that takes you out of alignment. Okay, so I'm going to continue on with the series, explore more, break down more to help you understand yourself. I love introducing people to themselves, reintroducing people to themselves, like seeing that light bulb go off, like, yo, that makes sense, or yo, yeah, like that definitely resonates. I always wonder why sa, or I thought I was weird because bop, 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 bop. No, this is who you are. All right, so today we doing my baby boos, my projectors, and I love a projector. My mama's a projector, and my baby boy is a projector. So, like, yeah, I kind of know y'all's energy, a little in and out. Okay, both Geminis too. I mean, it doesn't matter what your sign is. I know projectors of all signs. Um, so we're going to talk about your aura. We're going to talk about what it means, and we're going to talk about the top mistakes that you make just based off of, my experience, my schooling, my studies. All right. So first, let's talk about your aura. Let's talk about what it is to be, what does projector mean? So we all have these energy types, and our energy types is our aura, how we connect to the collective, the energy, the aura that we put out when we connect with the collective. You all, as projectors, you all are big projector screens. Okay, you all's aura is penetrating. Okay, like you go deep, you see through, you see inside a motherfucker. You know what's going on. All right, you show a big projector screen. Because of that, people can project onto you a lot. Things that you're not, things that you didn't say, things that this, things that, you have a big projector field. Because of this, you all can be very tired a lot, having that deep, that intense, that penetrating aura, especially dealing with a lot of people that can tire you all down big time. The biggest misconception about projectors, and the biggest thing that I've heard, is you all are lazy. And no, it's not that you all are fucking lazy. You all have the type of energy that, it can tire you the fuck out. Especially as every time you meet somebody, there's your projector screen, projector screen, projector screen. That's a lot going on for you all. Okay, you all aren't like generators where their energy is enveloping. It pulls you in. It energizes you. Especially when they're on fire, when they're saying yes to things in life, when they're responding properly to things in life, so their energy charges other motherfuckers. They have a sacral chakra lit up. You all don't have that. Manifestors, we also don't have that. Projectors are not supposed to do a lot of crowdy shit. You all best work your interactions one-on-one, dealing with people one-on-one. The projector friends of mine in my friend group, I always make sure to link with them one-on-one. You see me, I see you. And the other thing about projectors, you all's aura is very penetrating and it's very deep. However, you all cannot penetrate into a manifestor's aura because our aura is dense and closed. We have a protective aura against us or around us. That's the type of aura that we have. So it can kind of be hard for you, especially if you connect with manifestors, if you know them intimately, whatever, to kind of read them, know where you stand, but with everybody else, like, what time it is. You all are the consultants of the human design, where the generators are the worker bees, the generators doing the work, getting the shit done. They have the sacral to have the energy to do what lights them up until they're spent and then start all over again. No, the projector is to work smarter, not harder. That is you all's motto. You all really aren't set for like 9 to 5s. You don't need all that time. You all are considered the consultants of the human design. You all have the ability to step back, look at a situation, and say exactly what needs to be fixed. Say exactly what needs to be done. You all do the guidance. The projectors are likened to in an orchestra. Think about a symphony, an orchestra. The manifestors, we write the music. We're the initiators. Okay, we call the play. All right. The generators are the musicians. They have the energy to play, and for however long, you know. Reflectors are in the audience watching, reflecting back. Projectors, you all are the conductors. You all are leading the symphony. You all give guidance. Okay, this is what you all do. You keep everything together. With that being said, you don't need a lot of motherfucking time. You're guiding, you're not doing the work. You're doing the guiding. You know what it is already. So here you are offering your expertise. So we'll get to your strategy. Because of this, your strategy, your design strategy, how projectors are the strategy you all use through life to keep you in alignment, is you all receive the invitation. You all have to be invited in. It's very important. Biggest thing that I see with projectors is them feeling just because they've interjected themselves in something prematurely unasked, and then they get frustrated when they're not recognized, or they get bitter, which is their non-self. Ooh, a projector not operating in their not self, bitter. Ooh, surly. Ooh, my Lord. Because you're not being seen, and that is you all strategy as well, to be seen, to put yourself out there. Projectors always say, well, how do I receive the invitation? How do I know? How do I whatever? And I'm like, you have to put yourself out there to be recognized. How are people going to recognize you in your fucking house? Unless you do things, internet, you have some sort of medium that connects you to the people, but access is important to projectors. That's how you all are seen. How are people going to see this projector? You got to be outside for that. We got to see this shit. Bring your ass outside. All right. So let's talk about why you're exhausted. Okay. Let's talk about why people don't listen to your advice, even though you know that you're right. That's another thing with projectors. Projectors know shit before time. They're their friend that like, the energy ain't right. I don't like that one. I don't like this situation. Or you should do. But because they weren't invited in, your friend ain't asked you your fucking advice. Okay? That job didn't ask you what the fuck you thought. They may not even be paying you right. Keep it in. Okay? And we're also going to talk about why you feel bitter because you watch other people succeed, and you know that you also have it in you. All right. One of the biggest reasons is because you're a projector, and like I said, you've been operating like a generator. Biggest thing I see, or one of the biggest things I see with projectors is y'all everywhere. You want to work, 12, 24 hours, working, making yourself that generator, that bee. Remember, you don't have a lit up sacral. Okay. And your sacral is our life force energy. That's our battery. Generators have the will to go, 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 and continue to regenerate themselves. They have the battery pack there. They can regenerate themselves. Projectors, y'all can't do that. So you all go, 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 because you're trying to operate like a generator. Hustle. Projectors don't hustle. No, no, that ain't y'all. Projectors are not hustlers. And that's no disrespect, not saying y'all don't got the grit. I'm saying you don't need to. The way you all are set up, efficient, consult, not do the work, consult, okay, and remove yourself away. Cut that fucking projector screen down, and recharge yourself. All right. So, let's get to, I got my notes. I've been talking off my notes. Hold on. Okay. So let's talk about your basics, projector basics. Okay. The number one basic is you are a guide. You are not a worker. I cannot keep stressing this to you. I don't care. You can let people try to gaslight you to say you're lazy. You ain't got no hustle. You don't got no whatever. That is not y'all. You don't need to do that. Okay. You're not a worker. You are a guide. And that's not saying you're not supposed to work. I ain't say that. Let me go on fucking record to say that. I'm not saying projectors don't need to work. I'm saying the ethic, you're not that worker bee. That Energizer bunny. You're the guide. Okay, you in and out. Okay, you're here to guide, show your expertise. Put it on the big screen. See what you see, or show what you see on the big screen. Okay, you should change this. Don't do that. Don't add that. Make that another color. But you have to be invited in. All right. So remember, you have that undefined sacral center. Okay. So you don't have a means of regenerating your energy like a generator. So you don't need to think like a generator, and you please don't need to act like a generator. All right. You're designed to see systems, people, processes clearly. You cut through the bullshit. Remember, you got that screen. Your aura penetrates. It goes deep. What the fuck really going on? Who is this? Who? What we really got here? You all are seers. You all are guides. Okay, this is what you bring. This is your gift. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I don't know if y'all. I'm sure y'all do hear that. I'm sorry. Let me put my sound off. Okay. Your gift is efficiency. Okay, you don't have to work. You don't have to do overtime. Your gift is efficiency because you see through the shit. You understand the systems. You understand the situation. You can read the person, the people, the energy. It's like you have this superhuman, gift of literally seeing things on the big screen that other people, it's going to take them some time to travel up to be able to see it up here. You can see it from behind, because your energy goes straight in. Okay. You're here to manage, direct, and guide others. Manage, direct, guide others, not hustle alongside them. No, 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 no. Do coaches do the work? Do professors do the work? No, who they teach do the work. Okay, so you don't guide, direct, you know, and then go work beside them. No, that's you out of alignment. Okay, your superpower again is you can see what other people cannot, and quick, fast, in a hurry. Okay, you see people more clearly than they see themselves. And that can be very unsettling to people, and people can project onto you, especially when they get irritated by that, especially if you have a fifth line, double projection field. All right. You can see inefficiencies in systems immediately. You can look at something and you know what's not going to work. You can look at something and know why it didn't work. You all have that eye. You all have that wisdom that you should da 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 da. Tokens of knowledge, keys of life. My projector booze, I always learn something from them. Like they really are like little gurus, wise beyond their years. Like, how do you know that? How do you even see that? But they have that innate ability, or you all have that innate ability to see things clearly before anybody else, if at all. Some motherfuckers still, on the CV Wonder. No disrespect. All right. So you have deep wisdom about things that should work. Okay. That's why you always want to, hey, let me give you some advice. Let me tell you this. You should do this. No, you receive the invitation. No, you wait, because then that person is ready for whatever it is you have to tell them because they've asked you, And another thing with projectors, because you all are so penetrating, because you can see the real people, because you can see through people, this can, one, make them very uncomfortable, and also, two, make them not want to take your advice, or make them act out, give you negative reactions to when you're trying to help. Don't tell her what she should be doing with her kids. You trying to judge her. What this person should be doing with their life, this, that, and the third. They not ready for it. They haven't asked you. Lock your nickels up. Lock your pennies up. No, because then you're going to get a reaction from them, and then you're not going to feel too good, and then you're going to be bitter. You're not self-themed. All right. You're naturally gifted at coaching, consulting, managing, and advising. I keep a projector on my team. My assistant is a projector. Keep a projector on my team. I love it. You all are great, like I said, with consulting, seeing things. Like I be in here frustrated with shit, and Kingston will just come and be like, Mom, and he'll just fix it. Kingston be putting shit together. He don't even have to look at the instructions. Just innately knows. He can see the system, as a whole. Okay, well, yeah, okay, well, I see it put up like this, so I just put these together. He shines. All right, that is what you all are really great for. Okay. Also, when you all recognize your gifts, really, really, really start embracing your gifts, y'all unstoppable. Unstoppable. Okay, let me go into some famous projectors. All right, Kanye West is a projector. Serena Williams is a projector. Nelson Mandela is a projector. Princess Diana, and I was like, yeah, that definitely tracks, especially with her humanity. How she was like a spokesperson, for so many causes, and she would go to the hospitals and be one on one with the kids, one on one with patients. She was very relational. That's where she shined, not talking to big groups, doing a speech. No, she wanted to go in and be relational. She wanted to touch the patients. She was the first person who on TV touched an AIDS patient, because back in that time, people was like, oh, you contact, you get it. She was like, No, I see through this bullshit, you know? And I want to be there for them, and I want to help humanity. And I'm going to go and I'm going to treat this person just like I would treat anybody else that I've seen, you know? And that's what she did. And because of that, because she was a seer, you know, because she knew how the systems work, you know, especially knowing how her celebrity would bring, you know, what's the word that I'm shine a light to it. You know, this is where she shined. This is where she ate. Everybody wants to be a Princess Di, you know, Lady Di. You know, that's what they call her, Lady Di, the England's Rose. You know, on. Um, yeah. They say Barack Obama, but every time I do the generators, they say he won too. So I don't know. Marilyn Monroe, okay. All right. So those are projectors. I'm gonna come back to Kanye West because he is a textbook projector. Okay. So projector, you're here to guide, remember. Okay. You're a guide, you're an advisor, okay, and a system expert. Okay, that's where you shine. All right. Um, when you all are yourself, when you are in alignment, when you are receiving the invitation, waiting to receive the invitation, not putting yourself out there, jumping out there, you all are your self theme. You're shit. What is the satisfied? No, that's generators. I think it is a satisfaction. Hold on. Success. I knew it was one of the S's. Sorry. Success. Okay, my bad. When you are yourself successful, you feel happy. You know, yes, satisfied, success, but it's success. That's your self thing. Okay. When you all are not yourself, you're bitter. You're fuck the world. The world never did nothing for me. You know, fuck these. Very bitter. Okay, but when projectors, y'all feeling yourselves, y'all feel successful, you know. And that's also why it's important that you keep people in your circle who value you and who see you. Okay, because that's a big thing for projectors. You all like to know that you're seen, and you all like to know that you are valued. So when you got people in your circle who hating, don't want to give you your praise, you know, don't want to invite you in, you know what I mean, shine the light on you, you know, give you any type of kickback, we don't need to be there. Okay. I'm gonna get to Kanye West. Kanye West is a good example of a projector because you think about his ascent into being a rapper. Remember, he did beats. And remember, nobody wanted to hear about him rapping. They didn't want to hear about, we're not signing you. We just need you to make the beats. This is how we recognize your value. This is what we're inviting you into, beats. And every time he was invited in to collab, to make a beat, knock it out the park. You know, however, he really wanted to rap, and he would initiate. He would work like a manifester. You know, Dame, Jay, whoever, sign me, sign me, sign me. And they would know, you know, one, we're not operating in our design type. You're trying to initiate a record deal. No, you know, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. Beats, do the beats, you know. And he was just like bitter about the shit, pissed off about the shit, you know. And it wasn't until Dame Dash invited him, all right, let's try this, let's do this, you know, he took off, you know, and people loved him, you know. Also, a great example of him, and with you all with recognition, is him interrupting old girl speech. Like, no, I see this totally different. You did not have the best video. No, I seen this. I know how this shit works too. So I'm going to come and invite myself on your fucking acceptance and say who had the best video, because he was totally out of fucking alignment. Nobody said, well, Kanye, who you think should have won? No, he just came on up. What happened? He got slandered. Just, oh, how could you? Even if you hear a lot about, if you hear some of his interviews, he can be very bitter about his legacy, how he's remembered, his respect, like pissed off the shit with his relationship with Jay, really bitter about how that ended. And look at what's going on. So, you all, success is your self thing. Okay. With that being said, you have to be mindful of the environment you're putting yourself in and the people you're connecting with. If you're around people who don't want to see you win, if you're around people who don't want to see you succeed, when you're connecting with them, you're putting up that projector screen, and you're motherfucking what's the word that I'm looking for? Diving straight into that aura. They putting that shit on you. No. Success. All right. So, with that being said, I'm going to tell you what makes you different from the other energy types. All right. I've talked about the generators and the manifesting generators. Remember, the biggest thing is they have a sacral, a lit sacral. They have limitless energy supply when they respond to life. They get tired, they replenish themselves. It's their self starters, not projectors. All right. They have sustainable energy for work, not projectors. All right. They can work 8 to 10 hours easily, sometimes 12, sometimes 16 easily, not projectors. All right. They can generate their own life force, not projectors. Okay. But projectors work very well with generators because you all are able to guide them, and on their journey, how to respond to life, what they should do, but you guide them. You don't work alongside them. Remember, you're a guide. All right. Let's talk about how you're different from manifestors. All right. We both have undefined sacrals, so we both can't work all day. Projectors, you all need naps. That's how you recharge yourself. Do not be ashamed. I don't give a fuck how old you are, your big age, to take a nap. Please take a nap. Kingston taking a nap right now. Yeah, baby, lay down. I'm about to record. Go ahead and take your nap. Kingston was a perfect kid. He didn't keep me up at night. He was a baby who liked to sleep just as much as I did. We was arm in arm. So naps are big for you all. That's how you recharge. That's how you recalibrate yourself. Take in what you've seen. All right. So naps are important. So anyway, us two, manifestors and projectors, we both don't have a defined sacral. Our sacral isn't lit like a generator. Okay. Um, but manifestors, we do have our initiations. We can initiate in bursts. So when we're on, we do it in bursts. Like we can do 6 months of work in a week. I've fucking rented a hotel room and just written the whole weekend and done videos, and I have like 2-3 months of content, blogs, all of that. We work in bursts. That's what charges us, being initiating things, clearing the air, charging, doing answering our urges, so even though we don't have the battery, when we're called to initiate, when we get these manifestations, that gives us the energy to work in quick bursts. And then we got to go and sit down somewhere, rest. All right. We work in sprints. Okay. And we rest significantly in between. Like, you won't see us. We have rest cycles and we have urge cycles. All right. Also, we don't need invitations. Okay. We impact and we go. We don't have to, receive an invitation like you all. We don't have to wait for a response like generators and manifesting generators, and we don't have to wait a moon cycle like reflectors. We get the urge and we go. Okay, so let's talk about you. Projectors, again, no sustainable energy of your own, no refined, no defined sacral. Okay, you all absorb and amplify others' energy, then you get depleted. That's why it's important that you watch the energy that you fucking interact with, the energy that you're taking in, and also large crowds, a lot of people being overstimulated. No. Okay. You're not designed to work long hours or grind constantly. Hustle culture is not your thing. Not your thing. You just show up, okay? And wait to be recognized and invited in. All right. You all need lots of rest to discharge the energy you've absorbed. All right. And you're designed to work in focused bursts, then rest. All right. So the key difference here is you are not here to do the work. Okay. You are here to guide the work. Okay. Coaches don't play. You're here to guide the work. All right. Your signature emotion again is success. When you're not yourself, is bitter. Okay. That's really, 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 really big. Okay. Let's talk about the projector experience when you're in alignment, what that looks like. You're recognized for your unique gifts. People invite you to share your wisdom. Da, 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 da. So what do you think about that? I want to hang these curtains over here. What do you think? Or at work, whatever, da, 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 da. What do you think? Somebody inviting you to speak, at an event, play, whatever it is you do, inviting you in. Hey, would you like to come and work with us, or da da da, or would you like to da da da? That's your invitation, being invited in. Okay, people have to invite you in. You cannot just, so y'all should do 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 do. Well, I think you should bop bop bop. Well, I'm just gonna start. No, no. You're not gonna like the response, and then you're gonna be in your little feelings, because people is like, yeah, no, or they're not responding to you the way you think they should, or they don't see the value in what you're saying. Save yourself, projectors. All right. Your advice is valued and implemented. You got great shit to say. Remember, you're a guide, so you have great shit to say. When people value your advice and ask you for it, that's when you shine, that's when you light up. All right. You have time and energy for rest and self-care. Projector, there's no way around it. I don't give a fuck who calls you lazy. I don't give a fuck if that voice in your head is telling you're not doing enough. We need to be grinding. We need to be hustling. Tell that motherfucker to shut the fuck up. Cause that ain't that and that ain't this. Okay? So take your ass down and lay down. Take your ass down and rest. Chill. Recalibrate. Okay? When you all go to bed at night, you all have to allow yourself to de-escalate for the night. If you sip your little tea, if you want to read you a little book, no screens, because you're a projector screen. Now you projecting onto whatever's on the fucking TV. No, we're trying to go to sleep. De-escalate. And when you feel yourself get tired, projectors, it's important that you lay down. Because what a lot of you all do is you push through it like a generator. And you may get that little but y'all have to pay for it at the end. You're drained. Okay, you're exhausted. Now you need all this motherfucking sleep. Okay, so you feel successful when you're aligned with yourself. This is how you know you're in alignment. You feel successful. You feel accomplished. You don't feel like a failure. You don't feel bitter because this, that, and the third, upset, disappointed. No, you feel successful. All right. Let's talk about the projector experience when you're out of alignment. You're exhausted trying to keep up with the generators. You share your wisdom, but nobody's listening. You watch less qualified people succeed while you're overlooked. You feel bitter that your value isn't seen. You're working harder than everyone else, but getting nowhere. You resent that rest is stigmatized as lazy. When you all fully embrace that rest is built into your design type and it is a non-fucking negotiable, life will go a lot smoother for y'all. I can always spot a projector out of alignment because you all are like cranky 2-year-olds who have not had a nap. Okay. And I got one downstairs. But matter of fact, we call him Baby A. And when he Kingston go take a nap. Or, go ahead into your own energy. Go de-escalate. Okay, yeah. Go do your thing. Rest is important. And raising a projector, I let my baby sleep. Now, it's Saturday morning. Get up. First of all, I wasn't raised like that. My mom is a projector. My mama let her kids sleep in. Okay? My mama wasn't cracking the whip. Okay? And being a manifester, I got a lot of freedom. Thank fucking God. Because she was resting somewhere. Okay? She was laid the fuck down somewhere. Okay? So, yeah. You all and rest is important. If you have a projector little person like me, it's important that you all acclimate them to the importance of rest and how it's non-negotiable and explain to them why, and incorporate it. Don't shame them for it. Don't make them feel like, oh, you're lazy. No. Okay, that's king. Well, lay down. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you. What can I talk to you about? Blah, 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 and so and so. Or when I ask him to do things, it's never right now. Hey, King, before the day is up, do you think you can, no rush. If you want to do it earlier, you can, but no rush. And usually Kingston will get up. I'll hear him in like 30 minutes, and do it. Even though I said he had the whole day, but coming in, I need you, chill. No. Okay. So let's talk about your strategy. You all are here to wait for the invitation. People recognizing you and saying, hey, you come. And let me preface this with saying this is for big things in your life. I'm not saying you got to wait to be invited to do a hobby, do something that you love, listen to the music you want. No, I'm talking about things like your relationships, your jobs, the environments you're in, people you meet, decisions you make, your money, big things, your big life things, strategy. Okay. So you all wait for the invitation. All right. And this is the most misunderstood strategy in human design. Because y'all don't know what that look like. Don't nobody know what that look like. Okay. Let's be clear about what that actually means. You're supposed to wait for the invitation for big things. Big things. Okay. Career opportunities, romantic relationships, where you live, major life decisions. All the other shit, go ahead, do your thing. If you love it, do it. Remember your battery though. Remember your energy though. Well, you don't have no battery. Remember your energy. Okay, you can't be out here hemming and hawing. All right. You do not need an invitation for going to the grocery store, talking to people casually. Okay, pursuing hobbies, living your daily life, listening to this music, what color you want on your nails, what baby, do your thing. Do your thug fizz. Okay, this bud's for you, babe. All right. The invitation strategy is about recognition. This is big, y'all. Being recognized. That's how you know you found your person, your people. Your vibe. When they recognize you and invite you in. Okay? That's why a lot of my projector gems be falling in the hands of crackheads. Okay, you can be valuable, but you dealing with somebody with that crackhead mentality, and doesn't recognize your value, sees you as something, oh, I can go get a little rock, or I can go trade this in for da da da. Bop, 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 bop. Guess what? They're going to do that. But if you wait for, oh, yeah, look at that diamond. Oh, I got to handle this. Careful. I got to respect. Please, can I hold you? Can I bring you into my jewelry armoire? That's a totally different vibe. Okay, than motherfucking Ezel that she was just kikiing with. All right. So recognition is big. All right. Before you can guide someone effectively as a projector, okay, they need to see you. They need to recognize you. They need to recognize your unique value. Okay. And they have to ask for your guidance. They have to ask for your guidance. When you ask for something, it's a preface that I value it because I would like it. I'm requesting it. I'm ready for it. I'm the one requesting it, so I'm ready for it. Not you just telling me no. When people request guidance, ask a question, they are positioning themselves as, okay, I'm open to the response versus you just telling them, like, first of all, who asked? Who this, who that, who said I was ready for that? Okay. So recognition is big for my projectors. All right. And why this matters. When you share your wisdom without being invited in, people don't listen. That's the biggest thing. Okay. They resist your guidance. Okay. Even be defensive. They dismiss your expertise. Okay. And you feel unappreciated and bitter. Lose, lose. And nobody asked you. So is that really worth it? All right. When you share your wisdom after being invited, you play yourself. You know, you interject yourself into a space that did never say it was ready for your energy. It was ready to receive your energy. No indicator, no preface, no nothing. And that's like wanting to live in La La Land on some shit, and then here come this big motherfucker with this big projector light and this big screen, like, look at this. Look, and you like, oh, wait a minute, lights, camera, action. That can be intrusive to people. A lot of people don't like to be seen deep or told what to do, guided. Y'all know as projectors, everybody can't take guidance. Everybody don't want advice, good advice. A lot of people got a motherfucking problem for every fucking solution you give them. And you save yourself so much energy when you recognize this and only give it when requested. Understand that when you're recognized, that's showing you, this is a pre-approval for a motherfucker that values you. Oh yeah, this person is safe. Come on through. Okay? So, without the invitation, here's what you should do. They ignore you. The result, bitterness. Okay? Bitterness. Well, I told her she didn't listen to me. Or yeah, you should have. It could be you giving this motherfucker the lottery fucking numbers. If this motherfucker is not recognized your advice as valuable, they don't want to hear them numbers. It's really that simple. It's really that silly, yeah, but it's really that simple. Okay, how about you go play the motherfucking numbers? I'm just saying. Okay, so that's without the invitation. With the invitation, what do you think I should do? What is your advice on this? What would you do if you were me? How would you swing this? What do you propose we do? Would you like to come in and cater? Would you like to come in and speak at my event? I heard your podcast. I read your blog. I see your value. Here I am inviting you into this space. Okay? Sure, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. You receive the invitation and you put your little screen up and you guide. You lead that fucking symphony. Okay? You, Mr. Holland's opus on these hoes. All right? Fabulous motherfucking show. All right. Everybody, oh my God, this is brilliant. Look at her. Look at him. Brought down the house. He helped me so much. She made me so much money. That advice really worked for me. Girl, I tried the so and so and so and doop, 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 doop. And here you are. You feeling successful. You feeling your self thing. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I'm recognized. Yeah, they see my value. Okay, I'm shining. Alrighty. So let's talk about what waiting for the invitation looks like in real life. Okay, in your career, it is not applying to 100 jobs that don't recognize you. That's not what it is. Especially shit that you know you don't want to do, shit that you know you may not shine in. Shit that's just a job, just a job, just a job. No, okay, out of alignment. In alignment is building your visibility so opportunities come to you asking you specifically. Okay, putting up your resume on a job board. Putting yourself out there, putting flyers out, putting business cards out, taking out an ad. Visibility, recognition. That is you all's bag. All right. In your relationships, what this is not, what waiting for the invitation is not. Okay. Chasing somebody, hoping they'll see your value. Projectors, if these motherfuckers don't see your value, please get your shit and go. I'm waiting for you outside, gassed up. I take you anywhere you want to go. Okay. I'm like Charles. Take you anywhere you want to go. But you got to get the fuck up out of here. You chase some motherfuckers to see your value? No. Okay. What waiting for the invitation does look like in relationships: being visible, letting them pursue you once they recognize you, telling you what they recognize about you, what they value, what they respect. That's important because remember, you all want to be recognized. So you dealing with people who don't want to tell you you're pretty, you're beautiful, you're the light of their life, whatever your thing is. Shining that light on you, saying, I see you. They got to go because remember, you have to be around connections that know and cultivate your value, your worth, who see you. Okay. If not, no. Okay. Let's talk about when you're sharing advice. Waiting for the invitation does not look like you should try this unsolicited and uninvited. I don't give a fuck what you know. I don't give a fuck what you know. Okay. What would be waiting for the invitation would be, what would you do in my situation if they ask you this? What do you think I should do? What do you say about this? How you analyze this? How you looking at this? What would you do? That's being invited in. Okay, well, this is what I would do. Or, okay, this is how I see this. Okay, here's how I think you should handle that. Here's how I think you should tackle that. I got makeup on the back of my nails. The nuance that people miss with this is you can create situations where invitations come. It's not like, oh, let me just stand outside and hope somebody walks up to me and says, I choose you. No, no, no. Okay. This does not mean sitting on your couch waiting for life to just happen to you. No, no. Okay. It means building your expertise visibly. Remember, recognition, visibility, putting yourself out there. All right. It's about showing up in spaces where your ideal people are. Y'all don't have to be everywhere. You need to be where it counts to be recognized and brought in. Brought in. Okay. It means demonstrating your value through your content, through your presence, through your examples. Okay. Your brand. Okay. Because that's what's being recognized. All right. Making yourself recognizable so invitations flow naturally. Okay. I'm going to give you an example of this. My kid, he wants to. This is he graduated high school in June last year, and he said he wanted to take a year to just figure out what the fuck he want to do. And I was like, yeah, shit, no problem. Remember, y'all, if y'all don't know, I dropped out of high school. I got a GED. Okay, I mean, I went back and got them degrees. But yeah, and I traveled the world, and like I didn't want to go to fucking college. I was like, listen, I need a fucking break. All right. And so I get it. You want to explore, so he took the year. And in this year, just him exploring the things that he likes doing. I got him pilot classes, excuse me. And another thing is modeling. So, he wants to try his hand at that. Why not? So, New York Fashion Week is next month. Okay. And I was like, how about well, he wants to go. He asked me for the Xmas holiday, if I would fund him a trip to New York for a week. And I'm like, Kingston, that's cool, no problem. So I'm going to put the shit together for the week. He says, oh no, I want to do Fashion Week. That's astronomically more. But he's seeing the systems. He's seeing, okay, I see the wheels turning. So he was like, he wanted to go up for the Fashion Week, do the shows, see about the model shit. And initially, I went into manifestor mode. I'm an initiator. I'm like, okay, we need to find go-sees. I can reach out to them because I'm a reach outer. I'm an initiator. This is what I need. This is what I need you to do. This is where I'm at. I'm initiating some sort of movement, catalyzing some sort of movement. My baby ain't like that. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna reach out to this. I'm gonna make a post about this. I'm gonna this, that, or the third. I gotta call Darren. That's my photographer. We gotta get him a portfolio, this, that, and the third. And then I thought about it because I told Kingston about it, and he was like, I could tell that he was like, okay, mom, you're doing too much. I wasn't thinking all of that. And I had to check myself. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Your strategy as a projector is to just be there, and that's how his thing has always been. If you follow me, I was in Paris last year, around Paris Fashion Week. And he came with me for the first 2 weeks. They thought he was a model out there. And I was posting, the girls was catcalling, swooning, and we looking like, who the these kids too young to know who the fuck I am. I hope they don't know who the fuck I am. And it's him, so projector putting himself out there, and he knows, no, I just need to go, so I switch gears. Like, okay, I don't need to be Sonia Norwood, momager, or whatever. I need to make sure that my baby is presented there to be invited in. I need to make sure he has visibility to be recognized. And I already know, wherever he goes, since he's been a little baby, like sonogram pictures. Oh my God, he's so cute. So he's recognized his little looks, his height, all of that. I just need to get this projector there. So I'm like, okay, I got to make sure that I get him his hotel in this section of, New York City. So he's right there. He's this. I started positioning myself with his visibility. I helped him out with getting his little wardrobe kick up. Especially to be fashiony or whatever. He was like, he wanted to do street pictures. He was like, I don't mind taking, the picture with my photographer, with Darren. He was like, but I kind of want to do some pictures up there. I kind of want to do some street pictures, just, and I'm like, I got you. You see the bigger picture. You see this. So no problem. So that is an example of you all being where you need to be. It doesn't mean you waiting in your house, you whatever. If you know that you want to speak, if you know that you want to do keynote speaking, this, that, and the third, why do you not have a podcast or some sort of outlet where you're speaking, where people can hear you and hear what you have to say and invite you to come and speak, invite you to be a guest on the podcast, invite you to be a so and so and so. If you are a writer, you have a book, you have a whatever, why are you not putting excerpts of that book up on social media or whatever, take a look into the book to read. This is what chapter whatever is. This is what chapter dot 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 dot, dot is. Putting yourself out there so that people can see you, recognize your value, and invite you in. The shortcut is going to where your energy belongs. You don't need to be seen everywhere, doing everything. No, you need to be positioned where people can say, oh, there you are. I've been looking for you. Well, come here, little fella. Come here, gal. Let me ask you this, that, and the third. Like if we would have worked the thing how I was initially, me being the initiator, like, okay, Kingston, you're gonna do open calls. I'm gonna find you some open model calls for streetwear, some ghosties. We just walk in, or this, that, and the third. He would be operating like a manifester, okay, and probably would be rejected. But no, my baby want to go. He want to be in the know. He want to be out, whatever. Go to the fashion shows, go to the parties, go to the whatever. I got you. That is a perfect example. You go where you can be recognized. And people, like I say, people always think this kid is a model. His height, he's Venusian. His little appearance. I'm like, all right, King, I got you. I see you. I keep my baby fresh. So yeah. So I'm really excited for that for him, and that's something that you also would do. Okay, a big example. So let's talk about why you're always exhausted. Let's talk about the energy problem that nobody talks about. Why you all are always exhausted. Okay, you have an undefined sacral center. You do not generate your own energy. That is very important that you grasp this. We're not generators. Okay, projectors, you all are not generators. All right. This means because you don't have a defined sacral center, that means you don't generate your own consistent life energy, right? It means you absorb sacral energy from generators and manifesting generators around you. If you date a generator, or you have like an intimate relationship with a generator, they can be, siblings, intimate is close. For the people who are like, what does she mean? Intimate means close. It's not sexual. Your children, your babies, whatever, you may need to sleep away from them. Have some time away from them. Me, I really don't like to date generators or even manifesting generators because like that's a lot of energy. Or I need like prolonged space away because they have that sacral and that should be, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Okay. When you're around people who are generators and manifesting generator, you may feel like you have energy because remember they charge us. All right. But when you get away from them, you crash. You crash. So that's why it's important to be aligned with your rhythm. Okay. Also, because you don't have a sacral center or a defined sacral center, excuse me, when you're around generators, you're amplifying their energy. You're not generating your own. Okay. So you got to be very careful. All right. Because this is going to exhaust you. And why is this going to exhaust you? When you're at a job with a generator, let's say you work with generator, okay, you absorb their 8 to 10 hour capacity. Because remember, your aura penetrating, okay? It cuts, it goes deep. You all up in that. All right. Everybody you come in contact with. Your projector screen is just shoo, 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 shoo. That's why you got to be careful with how many people you interact with, especially during the day. Okay. You may feel like you should be able to work that long too because you're working with generators. You're seeing how they're going. You could be comparing yourself to them. Oh, I got to hustle like them. I got to this, that, and the third. But really, that's not hustling for them, especially if what they're doing is lighting them up. All right. So, you're pushing yourself to keep up. All right. Then you go home depleted, exhausted, depleted. Now that you've separated from their energy. You're no longer siphoning, from their energy. So now you feel drained. Now you feel exhausted, you know? And now you need hours to discharge all of that energy you've absorbed. It's very important that you rest, you honor your rest cycle, and you also get very serious about whose energy you have around you, how much stimulation you take in. If you feel overwhelmed, it's time to separate. If you feel like you need to rest, it's time to rest. You want to take a nap? Take a fucking nap. You feeling cranky? Take your ass to sleep. And this is non-negotiable. This ain't, oh, I'll do it when, or this is a part of your system. So you can keep putting it off and putting it off and, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Okay, you're going to exhaust yourself and you're going to be bitter, 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 bitter until you're ready. Choice is yours. Okay? So let's talk about the crash. Okay? Generators go home, they're tired, but they're satisfied. When generators are in alignment with themselves, doing what lights them up, they work that long day and they're satisfied with the work. So because they're satisfied, they can go to sleep and recharge themselves in the morning to get ready to go at it again tomorrow. Okay? Yep, because they have energy that recharges itself. Okay? Remember, you don't. All right? You go home exhausted and you need to be in a cocoon. Okay? Whenever my kid is out with his friends, if they go to DC for the night, go for a concert, and King does stuff like with groups, he comes home, he put them blackout curtains all the way around, that room is dark, and he goes to sleep. It's quiet. I don't bother him. And I, ask him if he wants something to eat, how you feeling, whatever. But I know that he's charging himself up. He's exhausted, and he'll even say sometimes, like if his friends leave or something, just, oh, I feel so tired. And I'd be like, really? You don't say. Okay. You over here like Lackawanna fucking blues. You don't say, but, he needs his rest. Same thing with you all. Okay. You need significantly more rest than any other energy type. Projectors, you all need the most rest. Remember, 4 to 6 hours a day is your sweet spot of productivity, of energy work. After that, we need to start breaking this shit up in some naps, some rest, or we chilling. You all are not the worker bees. Okay? You all are the consultants, the guides. All right? The wisdom holders. You don't need to do all the work. You're the coach. Okay? This is not a weakness, y'all. I think this is a great thing. This is your design. This is amazing. You come in as a manager. You come in as a guide, a coach. It's a beautiful thing. All right? So, you're not lazy. I need you all to know this. Please decondition yourself from that thinking. All right? Especially as it relates to your rest, your naps. Shit. Go lay your ass down. Okay? You're not lazy. You're absorbing and you're amplifying energy that does not belong to you. You're hustling backwards. And I'm going to need you to stop doing that. Okay? Let's talk about how projectors are supposed to work. Okay? And remember, you have your authority, which is to wait for the invitation. But when you do get invited in, say you get offered a job, say somebody want to be your man or your woman, in relationships, somebody wants to invite you to speak, to work, whatever, you also pivot to your inner authority. Okay, if you're emotional, you ride your emotional wave. Sacral, you listen to your gut. Okay, splenic, it's that in the wind intuition, that sounds like grandma's voice, that sounds like your guardian angel's voice. Don't do that. Mm-mm. Don't do that. So come on now. All right. So how projectors are supposed to work? You work in focus bursts. 3 to 4 hours of deep focus work. 3 to 4. 3 to 4. Okay. Then you rest. Not an 8 to 10 hour day like a generator. And I know, especially in this climate, I know you like, Nick, bitch, I gotta work. I get you. I'm just telling you what you ain't designed to do. Okay, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to none of that. But I could be explaining why you could be fucking exhausted. You're tired. Especially if you're not being seen. If you're working a job, especially if you're working a job that you're not being seen. You might as well call that a double. Fuck a generator's 8 to 10, baby. You working a double. Okay, in the mother baby unit. Okay, at the hospital. All right. How else you're supposed to work? You all are supposed to work smarter, not longer. Smarter, not harder. Okay? Your gift is efficiency, remember? You don't got to do all the hemming and hawing. You get straight to it. Your aura is penetrating. All right? You can accomplish in 3 hours what would take that generator 8 hours. Okay? The generator is here to master one thing and go at it one step at a time, like a stair step. Okay? So you got to keep at it, focus. You can see through it and you ain't got to do all of that. Unless you're manifesting generators are, they work in bursts too. But for the sake of this, how you differ from the generator, you don't need that much time. Your thing is efficiency. Okay? Then you rest. All right? Because you see the shortcuts and you see the better ways. Remember, you know how systems work. You recognize how things are put together, how things should be taken apart. People, places, things. You already have an understanding about that, where the generator may have to familiarize himself with it, study it, be methodological. Methodological. That's going to fuck with me. Hold on. Methodological. Yeah. The fuck? Y'all know I'm a Virgo. Y'all wasn't going to say I fucked up a word. Okay. Yeah. So you have that shortcut. Take advantage of it. Okay, please. Also, how you all are supposed to operate, you're supposed to prioritize rest. It's not a fucking negotiable. We're not going to sit here and negotiate your rest with you. You need to put it in the fucking energetic budget. You need to make it enough. Ain't that what Smokey Mama said? Make it enough. You need to figure it out. Rest, some me time, a nap, recalibration, chilling, closing that projector screen so you can cool the fuck out, so you don't overheat. You got to figure that out. How does that look? Okay. Also, minimizing your connections. Them crowds are going to fucking kill you. Them crowds are going to overwhelm you. One-on-one is how you best work. Projectors, golden one-on-one. Especially if you have a 4-line. Okay, you all are great. No, 2-line. 4 lines is the community people. The crowd. 2 lines, one-on-one. Yeah, that's especially if you have a 2-line. All right. So we're prioritizing rest. Daily rest more than other types. You need more rest. You need more sleep. If you're married or if you're cohabitating or whatever, if I don't care if your partner want to go to bed at midnight, you need to be in that motherfucking bed 9, 10, 8. Okay? You need your sleep. You see him in bed when you see him in bed. Don't you stay your ass up with that person, especially if they're a generator, baby. Okay? You go to bed before you're exhausted. If you can just go to bed and fall asleep, you should have been in bed a couple hours ago. Okay? Don't wait until you crash. If you crash, That's a lot to make up. Okay. Time alone to discharge absorbed energy. Your me time is non-negotiable. If you got kids, you need to give them office hours. Office hours are, I need to recharge. You can tell your partner, hey, I need you to get them kids from this to this. I got chill. I got rest. I need quiet. If you need to remove yourself and go somewhere, but your rest is very important. This is not optional, y'all. This is essential. It's in the contract. Page 2. Okay. Section B. It's in the contract. All right. Your value isn't in hours worked. Okay. It's in wisdom shared. Okay. It's in systems optimized, and it's in guidance given. Okay. 1 hour of your guidance, just 1 hour of a projector's guidance. And this is why I fuck with y'all as an entrepreneur. 1 hour of your guidance can save someone 100 hours of work. That's your value. You all are so proficient. Especially with me being a manifester in my burst, I don't got a lot of time. So projectors, you all do well with me. You say, okay, well, Nick, you don't want to, okay, well, how about you do this? Do. And that'll cut out on bop, 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 and you good. Or why you want to do all of that when you can just, I love a projector. You all help me be so efficient because I ain't got all that motherfucking energy. I ain't got the time. Okay. So let's get to the biggest mistakes y'all make. Oh my God, I'm on 111. Told y'all I love to talk this. Okay. The 5 mistakes that I see projectors make that take them out of alignment. The first one is working like you're a generator. You're not a worker bee. You do not have a defined sacral. You do not regenerate your own energy. You will drain yourself trying to keep up with the fucking Joneses, the generators. You will put yourself out of commission. Okay. What this looks like in practice: forcing yourself to work 8 to 10-hour days. Okay. Grinding and hustling like generators do. Team no sleep. Okay. You're going to be sleep up in them people hospital. Okay. You're going to be sleep up in, I don't know. God forbid, but I'm saying. All right. Judging yourself when you need rest. Denying yourself naps. Denying yourself downtime. Denying yourself time to recalibrate your battery and just chill the fuck out. Don't answer no fucking calls. Don't have no motherfucking company. So and so can't fucking come over. You ain't about to cook for this motherfucker. You ain't about to go pick this bitch up. None of that. Just you spending time with you. Okay? Trying to build endurance or saying, I'm going to push through this. Projector, if you are telling yourself to push through something, the fact that you have to push through should let you know right then and there that you are out of alignment. What are we pushing through? As a coach, as an advisor, as an expert on the matter, what are we pushing through? Let me know. Okay? Also, taking jobs that require consistent 40+ hour weeks. Taking jobs that got you working, they got you against the ropes. You're not a generator. You don't have this continuous energy. You are designed to get in and get out. Step back, understand the systems, the place, the people, the whatever, be able to penetrate through the bullshit, see what the problem is, advise, and get the fuck out. Anything else? What are we doing? All right. So when you work like a generator, this is why it creates bitterness. And remember, bitterness is you're not self-themed when you're out of alignment, working like a generator. All right. 1, you're working against your design. That's not how you're designed. That's not how you're designed. Okay. 2, you don't have the sacral capacity for sustained work. You don't got the battery. That's like taking your ass to the Chanel store or whatever, loading your shit. Oh, I'm gonna get this person. You ain't got a dime in your motherfucking bank. You don't got no money, nothing. You can't get this shit. This is not going to fly. You don't have the energy to sustain this. You're going to crash and burn. Okay? Also, while working like a generator creates bitterness in the projector. Okay? You burn out completely. It's guaranteed burnout city. Guaranteed. First class. First class. Short flight. Short flight. First class. Okay? You're not even gonna get time to drink your fucking glass of wine. Okay? You resent that you can't keep up. Now here comes the comparison Olympics. Now here comes the, oh, I need to grind more to be like that. I need to, no, you need to be visible to the right people. That is your shortcut, your visibility. You shine. Put a projector in the right place. They shine. People are going to, hey, have you ever noticed if you're ever in your element and people just walk up to you, ask you questions? People just walk up to you and innately know, like, you can answer this. You can help me with this. You know, and when you do, you really hook them up with knowledge. They just, that's you in your element. All right. Also, working like a generator creates bitterness in the projector because you think that there's something wrong with you because you on somebody else's road, trying to travel down that road. You looking on somebody else's paper. Them problems ain't on your paper, ain't on your test. Okay? So yeah, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be bitter. You're going to be out of alignment. All right? So an example of this is if you take a 9-to-5 office job, okay? By 2 p.m., you done. Fuck it. You done ate both your snacks, lunch, everything. Bitch, I'm ready to go. Okay? But everybody else is still going. La 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 la. They got the Pandora going. They clickety clacking on the motherfucking keyboards, the typewriter, whatever. And you just in there like, oh my God, I am ready to fucking go. Okay? By Friday, you exhausted. You like, hell fucking no. Absolutely not. Okay? So you cancel all your weekend plans. You can't make it to your date Saturday. Okay? You can't make it to brunch with the girls on Sunday. Okay? You can't walk the motherfucking dogs. You know, you can't cook the shit you said you was gonna make for the babies. These motherfuckers eating fish sticks and fucking applesauce and shit because you just drained. You just fucking tired. Monday comes around, you're still tired. You at work like, oh my God, I don't know how much longer I can sustain this. But your generator coworkers just come in, hey, good morning. How was your weekend? Oh, this weekend I so and so and so and so and so because they got the energy. They can sustain themselves. Their battery just goes whoop, charge up, whoop, charge up. You don't have that. You have to have integrity and boundaries with your energy as a projector. You cannot let that get out of hand. You cannot give that to somebody else or whatever else. It's going to drain you. It's going to take you out of alignment. Okay? So how do we fix this? We design work around 3 to 4 focus blocks. You know, I know that may be hard. Figure it out. Do some sort of variation of it. Okay? You build in rest between your work hours. All right? You choose roles that value quality over hours. My assistant projector, you ain't got to work a 9 to 5 with me. I just want the work done. Whatever that looks like. You tell me when you want to work. But this, and me, the initiator, these are the tasks that I need done with the due dates, however your energy flows with that. And she gets it done. Takes it off. She ain't got to come 8 hours. I ain't even got the 8 hours. I don't want to look at you for 8 hours. No. And that's perfect. If you're able to do something like that, if you're able to work from home, hybrid work, you know, whatever, field work, being in the field, you know what I mean? You're not attached to a desk, whatever. That is perfect for y'all. All right. Stop comparing your capacity to generators. You are not hustlers. And there's nothing wrong with that. That does not make you less than. It does not make you inferior. Okay? Freelance or consult. So you control your schedule. Remember, you all are the consultants of the human design, the advisors, the coaches. I don't need that much time. You can consult, you can coach. That's your bread and butter. Okay? You're not built for 40-hour work weeks. Stop trying. But if you have to, I have to preface this because I know we are living in some crazy times. If you got to work that job, baby, I understand. Listen, we keep your motherfucking head up. Okay? Keep your eye on the fucking prize. All right? Trouble don't last long. Weeping may endure through the night. Okay? But joy cometh in the morning. I understand. But if you can switcheroo, or you're in the market looking for a job, whatever, I implore you to think about your schedule, your energy, your battery. Okay? Mistake number 2, sharing your wisdom without being invited. What this looks like: giving unsolicited advice, telling people you should really when nobody fucking asked your ass, jumping to help motherfuckers, rescue motherfuckers when they didn't ask you. Sharing your expertise without recognition first. Wondering why no one listens to you. Yeah, this is you sharing your info, your amazing wisdom without being invited. Takes you out of your alignment. Okay? Why this creates bitterness for you. Okay? People resist uninvited guidance. Unsolicited advice, people be like, who asked you? Or I know what I'm doing. It's my life. These my kids. Cool. All right? They dismiss your expertise because they don't value it. They don't recognize it. Remember? Okay? You feel unappreciated. You feel overlooked. Your wisdom goes to waste. Okay? And then you become resentful. I told them and they didn't listen. Projectors, y'all big. I told you so's. As you should be. Yeah, I feel you, but then people didn't ask you. You weren't invited in. So it really don't even matter. That's their little red wagon. They can push it or pull it. Let them do their thing. All right? So let me give you an example of this. Say you got a friend who's struggling in a business. You can see exactly what she needs to do. Clear as day. What needs to be changed, what needs to be fixed, right? You tell her, well, if you restructured your pricing, if you did this, if you did that, you give her the rundown, because she's your friend. You want to see her win. This is what you should do. Your website, maybe, your logo, and your content. And she listening, and it's going in one ear and out the fucking other. And she never implements it. Never does a damn thing you said to do after you done exerted all that fucking expertise, all that fucking wisdom, and for the free, for gratis. 6 months later, she fails. Business got to shut down. Grand opening, grand closing. Okay? You're bitter because you knew how to fix it. Pissed off at her. I told her she didn't need to lose it. That's a damn shame. She didn't listen to me. I gave her the play. I gave her the plan. That didn't have to go like that. She never invited your guidance in, though. That's where you went wrong. Okay? So with that being said, she didn't value it. And when she didn't value it, she didn't implement it because she didn't see the value in it. When people value shit, they get on it immediately. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, you just bless me. Oh, you just hook me up, huh? Let me get on this or let me. But when the people don't value what you say, y'all know the responses y'all be getting. Motherfuckers be lukewarm. Oh, the bitch who asked you. Well, bitch who asked you. All right? When y'all start thinking about piping up on these niggas, giving them fucking advice they didn't ask, you need to hear me in your fucking head saying, bitch who asked you. Nobody asked you shit. Nobody asked you a motherfucking thing. All right? So let's talk about how we fix this. All right? Wait for the, what do you think? What do you say? What are your thoughts? How would you do this? What would you advise? Can you tell me what your thoughts are? Wait for that. That is the invitation. It's that simple. Okay? Build your expertise publicly. So invitations come. Remember, it's about visibility. It's about visibility. It's not about initiating, this. No, it's about putting yourself out there so people can recognize you. And it's either they recognize you and, oh, yeah, I value that. Let me invite her in. Let me invite him in. Or, oh, okay. And you just saved yourself, or they just saved you, and they just saved themselves. Everybody saved. All right. When you're invited, then you share deeply. That's when you give your all. That's another thing projectors have to learn is you got to be comfortable. Some motherfuckers, you got to give them surface conversation. You got to give them surface interaction. They're not ready for you. When you're invited in, then you go deep. Okay? Let people ask you for your wisdom. Do not force it. I don't care if you got to step back and watch people fall on their sword. Step back and watch people. It's they fucking sword. Back up. Okay? Who fucking asked you? All right. Your guidance is valuable. Make motherfuckers recognize that first. Make motherfuckers show you that they value that first before you just start doling it out like Monopoly money. Because that's how they're going to treat it. Okay. Uninvited wisdom is wasted wisdom. Wasted. It's a waste. All right. Wait for the ask. You must. All right. Mistake number 3, not waiting for recognition before committing. Okay. What this looks like: applying for jobs that don't specifically want you. Oh, well, that's enough on the requirements. I'm going to apply for it. Oh, I got one or two things out of the 5. All right. No, they're not specifically asking for you. And this is not something you specifically want. So what are we doing? Okay. Saying yes to opportunities that don't recognize your unique values, even when you are invited in, accepting it, probably going against your inner authority, your gut telling you, your emotional clarity telling you, but going against that and letting them lowball you, letting them underpay you, letting them undervalue you. And then when you see them do it, now you feel some type of way. You feel bitter because you don't feel valued or recognized. Taking any offer because you need the money, you need the validation. It sounds good in practice, but the end result is not good. No bueno. All right. Committing to relationships where you don't feel truly seen. When motherfuckers don't value you in your connections, they don't see you. They don't recognize what you bring to the table. They don't respect you. What the fuck are we doing? I can tell you what the fuck we doing, but I want you to answer. All right. Why this creates bitterness. All right. You end up in roles where you're undervalued. You work for people who don't appreciate your gifts. You're exhausted doing work that doesn't honor your design. And you watch less qualified people get promoted while you're overlooked. That's a big one. Okay, let me give you an example of this. You apply for 50 jobs. One offers you a position. They didn't seek you. They didn't seek you specifically. You were just available. All right, you take it. 6 months later, you're underpaid, overworked, and unrecognized. Meanwhile, a company that actually sought you out for your specific expertise would have paid you double and valued your input. You're never going to be recognized where you're just tolerated. You're never going to be properly valued, where you're just tolerated. I can promise you that, projector. I can promise you that. All right? Knowing your value, knowing your worth, big. Okay? So how do we fix this? You make yourself visible in your area of expertise. You don't need to be all over the place. Your area of expertise, what you want to consult in, be the visionary for, your area. All right. You build a reputation so opportunities seek you. You only say yes to invitations that recognize your specific value especially if you have a talent, a niche, whatever, they need to recognize that. Okay. You ask yourself, did they want me specifically or just anyone? Okay. And you wait for the invitation that sees you. All right. So not all invitations are correct. Remember, you still use your inner authority once you get the invitation to make the decision. All right. You wait for the recognition, not just the opportunity. Okay. All right. Mistake number 4, not resting enough. Okay. The lazy trap. What this looks like, judging yourself for needing rest, saying, I should be able to work like they do. All right. Pushing through exhaustion to prove you're not lazy. Okay. Skipping rest to meet external expectations. Wearing exhaustion as a badge of fucking honor. Mm, 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 mm. Why this creates bitterness? You're constantly depleted. Okay. You can't access your wisdom when you're exhausted. You can't access your magic. You can't see shit. Okay, penetrate this, project, do all of this magical shit, consult when you exhausted. You're stealing from yourself. Okay. Also, your health is going to suffer. Okay. You're going to resent that rest is stigmatized. You're going to resent even venting. Oh, I need to rest. Oh, I need to so and so, because you're scared somebody may say, girl, you push through. No. Okay. And also, you burn out completely. An example of this is you work a full day. You come home exhausted, but you force yourself to go to that networking event, meet your homegirls for happy hour, go meet the fellas at the sports bar to watch 3, 4, 5 games and drink, and dehydrate yourself and all this other shit. Okay, you drag yourself there. Okay, you're not magnetic. You're not wise. You're not your projector self. Okay. You make no connections. Okay. Your friends, y'all might be, you may be snapping on them, misunderstanding this, cause you're tired, or if this is a networking event, if you want to go somewhere to meet someone at happy hour, you don't meet nobody. You don't see nobody, or you see a cute guy or a cute girl, but you ain't even got the fucking energy. You like, I'm just ready to go home. I'm just ready to take a nap. I'm just ready to get in my bed. That's a projector's thing. I just ready to get in my bed. So we're wasting time. All right. And then you go home and you're even more exhausted because now you done came to this networking event, this sports bar, this happy hour where you're connecting with all of these energy. Your little projector screen is just like this with everybody, and now you go home, you're more exhausted. You stole from yourself some more. Okay. A generator would have did all of that and bounced back the next morning, ready to hit it again. But that's the thing. You're not a generator. Honor your rest. You need to recover. Whatever you put off in recovery is what you're going to add on when you finally shut down. Okay, so get her done. How do we fix this? You rest before you crash. Your crashes are preventative. Rest is the answer. Okay? Crashing, you can prevent it. Okay? It's preventative. It's not reactive. Okay? Go to bed before 10 p.m. when possible. Please. Okay? Take your rest days without guilt. Take your PTO. You don't got to be with the flu. If you ain't feeling this shit, take the fucking PTO. If you got the PTO, take the fucking PTO. Take it. What the fuck? It's yours. You earned it. Take it. Take rest days without guilt. Okay. Honor your lower energy capacity as a design, not a weakness. All right. Understand your rest is equal to other people's grind time. So what grinding is to a generator is what rest is to you. Same thing, just different formulas. So if you keep your eye off of their fucking paper and worry about your paper, you will allow yourself to rest like that generator allows themselves to grind. Okay, win-win. All right. So the truth is this: generators need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, sometimes less. Projectors need 8 to 10 plus hours of sleep, in addition to downtime during the day. You all need a lot of rest. Okay. I need you to get this. It's not excessive. Trust me. It's not excessive. It's normal. Okay, this is your requirement as a projector. All right, rest isn't lazy. It is your operating system's requirement. It's your reboot. Your shutdown. Well, you're going to shut down if you don't reboot. Okay. Last mistake. Mistake number 5. Taking it personally when people don't see your value. Oh, you guys get bitter. Oh, you guys take it so personal. You know, especially when it's a motherfucker who you just trying to initiate. You trying to push yourself on. No. Okay. This looks like getting bitter when you're overlooked. I know it's fucked up, but no. Saying they don't appreciate me. They don't value me. Okay. Saying I'm more qualified than them. Why did they get it? Don't be a why me and why her and not me ass bitch or dude. Mm-mm. All right. Internalizing your lack of recognition as a personal failure. Okay. Also believing that you're not good enough. All right. Taking things personally, you know, when people don't see your value, it's going to lead you straight to bitterness. All right. And I'm going to tell you why. You make it about you when it's about visibility. It's about visibility, putting yourself out there on the screen. Okay. This is what it's about. All right. You spiral into self doubt. Okay. You question your gifts. You stop sharing because what's the point? No, what's the point? Projectors, I will come through the screen. Okay. Pick yourself up and fix your face. All right. Um, bitterness becomes your default state. Okay. This is why we definitely should not be taking it personally. You're going to send yourself to bitterness city. Okay. Let me give you an example of this. You watch somebody less experienced get a promotion. You think, I'm more qualified. What's wrong with me? The truth, they made themselves visible to decision makers. You've been doing great work in the shadows. It's not your value. It's about recognition. Okay. And recognition requires visibility unless they on some favoritism shit. And we know that's different. Okay. So how do we fix this? You separate your value from others' awareness. This is big. Your value is the same whether people see it or not. Nothing depreciates. Nothing changes. Okay. Your worth exists whether people see it or not. That's all right. Focus on visibility, not just competence. Putting yourself out there, making yourself visible. Okay, so people can extend to you an invitation. Show up where your ideal inviters are. All right, know that the right invitations will come when you are seen, not when you push yourself on people, not when you interject, not when you encroach on others. Okay, stop waiting to be discovered and make yourself discoverable. Put yourself out there to the right crowd. All right, so let me help you with a shift. Instead of saying, they don't see my value, say, I haven't positioned myself for recognition yet. Okay. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, they're not my right audience. It's fine. Instead of saying, why not me? Say, my invitation to come is coming at the right place and the right time. Everything in its time. Okay. Your value is real. That never changes. Remember, your visibility determines who recognizes it, though. So, I'm going to leave this here. What does it mean to be a projector? In summary, okay, you are a guide, not a worker. You are a guide, not a worker. You're here to see clearly, advise wisely, and optimize systems. You have undefined sacral, no sustainable energy. The grind life is not for you. Mm-mm. Your strategy is to wait for the invitation for big things. Okay? Your signature is success when you're invited and when you're recognized. All right? You're not self when you're out of alignment. All right? Is bitterness when you're overlooked or when you're exhausted. Okay? The 5 mistakes that keep you out of alignment. working like you're a generator, sharing wisdom without being invited, not waiting for recognition before committing, not resting enough, and taking it personally when people don't see your value. Okay? Aura killers. All right? You're not lazy. You're not broken. You are a fucking projector. Okay? It's nothing wrong with you. All right? Rest more, share when invited, build your visibility, and wait for recognition. It's really that simple. That is where your power is. Okay? So, drop me a comment. Okay? If you're a projector and you've been trying to work like a generator, or you've been a little bitter that you haven't been recognized, let's talk about it. What did you all think about the video? Don't forget to also watch your tarot video. It's going to follow this one. I did a tarot reading for 2026 for you all for projectors. Okay, I'm doing my new thing, doing my tarot by Human Design. The generators love theirs, manifesting generator love theirs. So I'm doing one for you all. Let me know what you think. And don't forget that over on my Frequency Nicole brand, I will be doing a class on January 29th where I am helping you plan your 2026 based off of your design type, how you use your energy to push this shit through. Okay, so we can stick to this shit this year. All right, I'll leave information for that below. I'm your girl, a.Nichole. I love you all. I'm rooting for y'all. I want the best for y'all. Y'all know I ain't playing no games with y'all. Okay? I want y'all to keep your head up. Y'all already know I want y'all to keep that motherfucking bread up. And please, y'all, please, keep these hoes fed the fuck up so they can shut the fuck up. All right? I'll catch you on your 2026 tarot reading. All right? I'm your girl, a.Nichole. I'm out. Bye.